Hello, Master Gardeners. I was out hiking today and I saw this big 12, almost 15-foot American elder, and I was just, all I could think was, you got to take a look at how big this one is. So this is a native shrub, although it gets a little weedy, but it is a woody shrub that grows from all the way up through Canada, all the way down through Georgia and then westward. It's called the American elder. We call it the elderberry, but it's covered with profuse white flowers. They're almost a little yellowish. So come on in, we'll look at it together and see these pretty blossoms. They make a really large flower, as you can see here. This one has got to be 10 inches wide, and the tree can make so many blossoms that it's covered with white, and the native pollinators just love it. These are white cymes. That's a word that's used to describe the flowers, and the native insects like it. Oh, can you see the ones over here? The sun's still shining on them. There they are. They look like big Queen Anne's lace sticking up off of it. But this is a very coarse textured shrub in the winter months because it has really thick stems. And the way to identify it is by its compound leaves. Oh, here comes a butterfly. Oh, he just flew by. But take a look at these compound leaves. Let's see where I can find one that I can zoom in on. Usually 7 leaflets, so you can kind of see on that one. Now the textbooks talk about how the lower set of leaflets down here, this set at the base, tend to be, where is that thing? Where am I? There. These little leaflets at the base, usually they are branched out, but on this shrub I can't find any of them branched out. But compound, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep, 7 leaflets, little fine, delicate teeth on the tips of those. And the bark is really distinctive. Let me zoom in. Well, here's a piece of bark in my hand I wanted to show you. It has lenticels on it. See those big old fat freckles on it? There's some honeysuckle in the background. But those freckles on it are pretty easy indicators that you've got a elderberry is what I like to call the common name. So that's elderberry stems, and the cool part about the stems is you can use them to make flutes and musical instruments. In the western part of the United States, there's a species out there and they call it the musical, I think the nickname is musical instrument shrub, but it's pretty fascinating. Let me show you what I tried to do today. See if I can grab my my attempt at making a musical instrument out of it. So here's my little attempt at making a flute. I didn't do too well. So I tried to carve it out and pop something in, but you got to do some homework to figure out how to make a musical instrument. This is a hollow pith inside, so all you have to do is take a, well, usually what I do is cut a wire hanger to jam it up inside, but I happen to have a drill bit that was perfectly sized to fit inside there today, and I just by hand drilled it out. But you could even cut these into little sections and make beads out of them. So the pith is a whitish in color, which is one of the characteristics of this species, which is Sambucus canadensis. The native one that grows in higher elevations has a brown pith on the inside of it, but it also makes a whitish color flower. But the berries on the other one are more of a, I didn't tell you about the berries yet. On the other one is more of a panicle, a stem that sticks up with a main part that comes upward, and then it branches out into a red berry. Whereas this one makes prolific blue berries, which people often like to eat and consume. They make fritters out of them. They say you can shake the petals off, and they have this volatile oil in them that's very fragrant, which makes the shrub fragrant too, which is another reason why you might want it inside in your yard. And so the flowers are fragrant with these little pretty smelling petals that people like to fry up for fritters. But the cool part is the berries. People use the berries to make wine. They also use the berries to make jellies and pies. Now my buddy made jelly out of it one time, and it was so full of seeds that it was not really very pleasant to eat. So I'd recommend that you might just soak that in a bag first and drip it out if you're going to make jellies out of it. But an awesome, pretty little shrub. You do have to maintain it. Don't kid yourself. You've got to constantly be pruning it. It suckers up in your yard. So you've got to keep it under control. as it sends new babies out, and keep it pruned. But boy, when it's in bloom and then when it's in berry, the berries are so prolific that that'll make the branches lay down on the ground. That's how profuse the berries are. And if you intend to use them for jellies or pies, you better get to them long before the birds do, because they race you to it and you're not going to get any of them. So that's our pretty little Sambucus canadensis, pretty little white creamy flowers, big cymes. So I hope you enjoyed taking a view of one of our natives. All right. Have a good afternoon, Master Gardeners.